Hello everyone, I'm Tyler.
And I'm Dillon.
Today we're going to be talking about detection methods for the critically endangered Sunda pangolin. Our project focuses on how we can find these elusive animals in the wild, which is way harder than it sounds. We'll compare a few different detection methods and talk through potential pros and cons.
Before we dive into the methods, let's get to know the Sunda pangolins a little bit better. Sunda pangolins are found across Southeast Asia, from Thailand, Vietnam, Malaysia, and into Indonesia, including Borneo and Java. They prefer forests with tight canopy, especially primary forests that haven't been disturbed by human activity.
These animals are insectivores. They feed mostly on ants and termites, including their larvae. That specialized diet plays a big role in where and how they live.
They're nocturnal, really elusive, and partly arboreal, meaning they can climb, but they also spend a lot of time on the ground. During the day, they sleep in burrows, under logs, or in rocky crevices. All of this makes them really difficult to find, which is why detection methods are so important.
Before we dive into the detection methods, we first want to explain how we are evaluating them. What makes a method more or less effective for detecting Sundan pangolins in the wild?
We developed 5 main criteria to compare each method. Detection capability. How well can this method actually detect Sunda pangolins? Time requirements. How long does it take to implement the method and get reliable results?
Labor intensity. Does the method require a lot of people, training, or physical effort to carry out? We also consider ethical and cultural considerations, including how the method might impact local communities or conflict with cultural beliefs. And finally, cost. How expensive is the method, both in terms of equipment and long-term sustainability? So let's talk about the 3 detection methods we looked into: detection dogs, collaboration with indigenous tribes, and burrowscopes.
Detection dogs haven't been used yet specifically for Sunda pangolins in the wild, but they have been used to detect pangolin scales in illegal wildlife trade. Because of their incredible sense of smell, there's a real potential to train dogs to detect pangolin feces or even burrow activity in natural habitats.
Another approach is working with indigenous tribes. These communities have generations of knowledge about the land, local wildlife behavior, and environmental patterns. Their insights could guide researchers to habitats where pangolins are likely to be found and improve the efficiency of detection overall.
And finally, there's burrowscope methods. Since pangolins rest during the day, researchers can use scopes to look inside these burrows during systematic surveys. This method has worked well for other elusive burrow-dwelling species, especially when paired with transect lines.
Let's compare these methods by looking at their strengths and limitations.
Starting with detection dogs, a big pro is their potential. They haven't been used in wild Sunda and pangolin detections yet, so it's a method worth exploring. With training, they could sniff out feces and other signs.
But there are a few drawbacks. Dogs need regular breaks and care, especially in hot, humid climates. Plus, in some cultures, dogs are viewed negatively, which could impact how accepted this method is locally.
Now, if we look at indigenous tribes, one of the biggest strengths is their deep environmental knowledge. They notice things most researchers wouldn't: tracks, feeding signs, and shifts in animal behavior. They also have strong conservation ethics rooted in cultural beliefs. With the use of their environmental knowledge, it can aid in making maps of pangolin distributions to help with detection capability.
But working with indigenous communities requires trust. In the past, many have been exploited or misrepresented by researchers. There's also the ethical issue of making sure their knowledge is credited and that they are actually benefiting from the collaboration. And blending traditional knowledge with Western science can be challenging. The two systems don't always speak the same language.
Now for burrowscopes, these are great because pangolins are inactive during the day, so burrows are likely spots to check. If a burrow is empty, we can quickly move on. It helps narrow down active areas.
But the downside: pangolins can use up to 80 different burrows. That makes this method extremely time consuming, and the equipment itself is expensive. Burrowscopes can cost anywhere from $2,000 to $6,000, which adds up fast if you're working across a large area.
So what's our recommendation?
We think detection dogs have a lot of untapped potential. Even though they haven't been used yet to detect live Sundan pangolins in the wild, they've already been successful in other pangolin-related work, like sniffing out scales and smuggling operations.
If trained properly, detection dogs could be a game changer, helping researchers locate pangolin feces, burrows, or even individuals. It should be the primary method in detecting pangolins, and if successful, pairing it with other methods will likely increase the success of pangolin detection.
Here are the articles that we use to gather information about detecting Sundan pangolins.
Thanks for listening, and we'd be happy to answer any questions in the comments below.